Hi people, Daniel from Devil & Sons Guitars here, and today I'm very proud to introduce to you my entry into this year's Great Guitar Build-Off. It's the Staff of Light guitar. Thanks so much both to those of you who are here for the first time, who have found me through the Great Guitar Build-Off 2021, and those of you who have been following me for years. I'm really grateful for your support. I'm going to start this video off with some footage of the final guitar, just like a sneak peek. I'll show you some full photos of the guitar at the end of this video, and I'll get on to how it was made in a moment. But first of all, I'd just like to say the reason I entered this Great Guitar Build-Off was because last year, during lockdown, I found myself watching the videos of the unofficial contestants and the official contestants, in fact, and commenting on the videos online, following people on Instagram, and the conversations I had were so interesting and inspirational. So I really just wanted to help build my community by entering this year. And the discussions I've had with other builders has been brilliant. Thank you so much to all of you that have engaged with me. It makes all the time I put into creating these videos so worthwhile. Now, I really wanted to stick true to the way I make guitars. And one of my favourite elements of creating guitars and customising guitars is collaboration. I've been customising guitars under the name Devil & Sons since 2014. I wanted the name Devil & Sons to make you think partly of that old story of Robert Johnson going down to the crossroads to sell his soul, but also the idea of a company that have been around for ages, like the companies you find in the East End of London near where I grew up. And although I started off by making my own guitars to sell, and I have various series that I make, one of my favourite things to do is to collaborate with people who come to me with ideas and help them develop it. So I thought that was the ideal thing to do for this competition. So as those of you who've already watched my design video will know, I work with Doctor Gothic, a musician I've worked with before, to develop his idea. What I'm going to do in a moment is go through the various stages of creating the guitar, starting with the design idea, but I don't want to overlap too much with the other videos I've made. I made one on design, I made one on how I constructed the body, one on how I painted the guitar, one that focused specifically on the neck, and one all about how the guitar was assembled. Well, in this video, even if I show some of the footage from those previous videos, I'm going to do a different voiceover focusing on different elements. You can go back and watch those videos if you're interested. They're only around 10 minutes long each. I try to keep them really focused. So for Doctor Gothic's new album, he wanted a futuristic looking guitar, one that was set in a time when there were multiple universes all colliding. And he suggested this idea of crystals and a flying V-shaped guitar. So we had a conversation that involved mood boards going backwards and forwards. We talked about ideas such as Superman's Fortress of Solitude and cosplay. We looked at the different potential materials we could use, and in the end came up with this design. Now, the way I work is to start with a rough design, and then I change and evolve as I go along. I try to leave things loose and free and respond to the guitar at all stages along the way, and getting the input from the person I'm working with, in this case, Doctor Gothic. We had discussions along the way about switch options, different types of pickups, how much relic to have on it, because he really wanted a relic finish, but a futuristic relic. So going for this silver chrome underneath a white top coat. Initially, he'd talked to me about possibly using a Telecaster guitar. Now, because I like customizing guitars, I entered this kit build competition. I bought a kit build guitar body, although often I might make the body myself. And I bought a Telecaster body, which I then basically hacked up and put these rods into it. If you've seen my video about making the body, you'll know that my history is as an artist. I studied sculpture at college and I worked as an artist for many years. In fact, I now teach about art and help people engage with artwork to make their own personal opinions. And that's one of the things I loved about the Great Guitar Build-Off competition this year. The idea that it's helping to support a charity that will give people an opportunity to work on making guitars if they don't normally have that access. That is something I feel passionate about, giving people access to creativity. So as I went along, I was putting in my acrylic rods, I was putting on my broken, shattered acrylic mirror, but very loosely. There were lots of options for moving it backwards and forward. I like sculpting with my hands using things like clay, so some details in this are put on with milliput, a 2-part epoxy, and also with wood filler that I can also carve into. In a way that's similar to carving wood but a bit different. My work is definitely not master woodworking, which this year's guitar build-off is full of, and I would never pretend to have the talent that those people have. Mine lies in a different area, trying to visualize someone else's idea to bring it to life, and my passion is in sci-fi and futuristic things, which is why some of my other guitars are things like the Mad Axe series, guitars that respond to films like my Aliens, Terminators, Ghostbuster Proton Pack guitars. Just really out there things that are as much about what they look like as what they play like. Because for me, and in this case for Doctor Gothic, what you visually look like on stage, what you're portraying, is as much a part of your persona as your music is. Think of Ace Frehley. Would he be the same guitarist if he wasn't in Kiss? That over-the-top glam rock. It makes it for me. It does help that he's a great guitarist. As many of you know, I'm really into relic guitars. There are videos all over my YouTube channel about this topic, and I make those really extreme relic guitars that look damaged to the point of not being able to be played. But what Doctor Gothic wanted is a relic that looked realistic, but at the same time looked futuristic. So it was such a joy to be able to put a relic effect on a guitar, but not wearing back to the natural wood. The chrome was revealed by chipping away at the top coat of white. I also used chrome paints and mirrored paints on it. I wanted this guitar not to look perfect, so some of those acrylic rods were sprayed over when I varnished the whole guitar and then polished, and some weren't polished. Some of the mirror was left looking tarnished by the varnish over the top, and some was polished up. Some new mirror was put on top of that to make it even brighter, and finally some chrome paint was painted on at the end. I keep referring back to my original design image, but it really is a matter of seeing where I'm at with the guitar and seeing what's going to work best on it, but at the same time being careful not to overdo it. And then, like in a lot of my guitars, I've put a finish on some of the hardware. It's basically painted and then varnished on. And because of the paints and varnish I use, it's really solid and won't come off easily. However, it's only on the parts that aren't going to affect the playability. This means it's not getting into the tuning pegs to stop them turning. It's not jamming up the saddles on the bridge. It's wholly visual. Then with the hardware, Doctor Gothic suggested lipstick pickups. He thought it would really add to the futuristic look of this guitar. But he wanted a single coil in the neck and a humbucker in the bridge. So I basically put 2 lipsticks together in parallel. There are different ways you can make a humbucker, but I thought for this a parallel humbucker would work quite well. And he wanted to keep the controls simple, so each of them just has its own volume. For those of you that want to know, the wiring's very much like a precision bass might be. It would be really great for me if you could let me know in the comments down below what you think of this final build. I'm so excited about it. I'm really glad to have worked with Doctor Gothic for this competition. You can also find me over on Instagram, where I've had a lot more photos than have appeared in the videos of the build as it's gone along. So do go and check them out and leave me some comments. And don't forget, this is a competition. Although I'm not in it to win it, I'm in it for the community, which is why I want that conversations with you. If you're watching my videos, do let me know. Let me know where you come from. Let me know what you're interested in. Let me know who I should be checking out in this competition. But if you do want to vote for me, check out my Instagram for how to do that. I'll put links to all of those below in the comments on YouTube, along with the playlist of all the other elements of my build for this video. As I said, there were 5 previous elements, and I've got a bonus video as well, where I focus on the case that I made for the guitar. A guitar like this needs a case, a secure case to keep the guitar safe, and a case that really does the guitar justice. So for now, here's what you've been waiting for, some final photos of the guitar. It's one that is really hard to capture. It's best going to be viewed live on stage, where you can see the lights shining through different elements, reflecting on the surfaces, and most importantly, the music that comes out of it. But until next time, everyone, happy strumming.